Hi there and welcome to this Dolphin Surf handover video. My name's Aidan Smith and in today's video we're going to go through all the bits that you need to know prior to handover. But don't worry, if you've only got a bit of time, you can skip to the point of this video to the bit that you need to learn about, and if you have any questions, please reach out to us. Firstly, let's talk about the trim levels of the Dolphin Surf. There are 3 trim levels. We have the Active, Boost and Comfort. The Active trim is a 30 kilowatt hour battery with an electric range of up to 137 miles WLTP range. The Boost and the Comfort trims both have a 43.2 kilowatt hour battery pack, with the Boost trim having 200 miles WLTP range and the Comfort trim up to 193 miles of WLTP range. And of course there are a few small exterior and interior feature differences between all 3 trim levels. So firstly, let's talk about key button controls. We have this button here to lock the vehicle, this one to unlock the vehicle. We can click this button twice to release the boot lock, and we can hold this button for around 3 to 4 seconds and it will get the vents going in the car. A fantastic feature. Another cool feature of the Dolphin Surf is the NFC smartphone integration. Through the BYD app, you can then set it up so that your car key is on your smartphone and you can even share it with your friends as well. All you need to do is when it's all activated, you can just scan it on the driver's mirror of a Dolphin Surf to lock and unlock. When it comes to batteries and charging, I've mentioned the size of the batteries before. So we can charge on AC charging up to 11 kilowatts, and it comes standard with one of these cables that charges up to 11 kilowatts. And that's 3.5 hours charge from 0 to 100% on an Active trim, and it's up to 5 hours on a Boost or Comfort trim. We also have this cable comes standard as well, which is our 3-pin plug socket charger, and that comes standard for the Dolphin Surf. When it comes to DC rapid charging, we can charge from 30 to 80% in under half an hour on all trim levels as well. We also can use vehicle to load technology as standard in a Dolphin Surf. Though the cable is an optional feature, you can optionally purchase that cable through one of our local parts departments. If you don't know, vehicle to load allows you to use the vehicle's power battery to power particular devices. Anything electric that you can think of that uses a 3-pin plug, we can plug that in and we can use it directly from the vehicle. The Dolphin Surf has 308 litres of boot capacity. That means you have this really spacious boot on a small vehicle like this, but we also have this little pull tab here, which allows you to have extra space located underneath, great for charging cables and hiding stuff away from your main boot space. So now we're inside the Dolphin Surf, the first thing we're going to want to set up is our seating, mirror and steering wheel controls. The first one to always set up is your seat. Now you might have manual seats or electronic seats, but we're just going to find the controls for that located down the side here, which allows us to adjust our seating. You can see on this electric version here we have our electric seating controls where we can move this backwards and forwards, we can move the back part backwards and forwards as well, find the seating to our right position, and that's all set up. The next thing is going to be our mirror controls. Our mirror controls are located on this side just here, and we've got a button that allows us to choose the left or right mirror, and then we can find, using the up, down, left and right arrows, the best position for our mirrors and move those to where they need to be. We can even control our mirror located up here as well. So that's a manual adjustment for the mirror. And there's this little thing that you can press here. You can push it backwards and forwards. What it does is it keeps your mirror position, but just blurs it slightly for nighttime. So maybe if someone's got their full beam on behind you at nighttime, you can just flick it away and flick it back when you want it back to its main view in the daytime. So next it's going to be our steering wheel controls. We have controls on the left and right hand side. So left hand side first. You'll see we have our full level 2 adaptive cruise technology controls all located here. We can set our cruise control by using the rocker switch here. We can set the cruise control and of course the lane keeping assistant, and the bottom 2 buttons change the distance between the adaptive cruise control. You might have a slightly different view based on the trim level you have, because you're going to have the button always here in the top right corner, which allows the screen to rotate. But if you have the Comfort trim, you're going to have the button here for the 360 cameras. If it's the Active or Boost, there will not be a button located here. On the right hand side, we're going to have a few different controls, which are entertainment controls. We can use this for volume just here. We can answer a phone call at the top here, reject a phone call here, backwards and forwards for setting the track. And then we can press the mode button to change the mode for listening to entertainment. And finally, the button in the top right corner is going to be our BYD Assistant voice control. Next we have our indicator stalks. Our left-hand stalk is our indicator stalk. We can knock it up or down for the indicators, but there's a little twister on the end of the stalk here which allows us to set our lighting settings. So automatic headlights is a good example. In the middle we have a little adjustment here for our fog lights for the rear, which we can turn on and off. On the end there is a button also which allows you to go through the trip computer here to see trip A or B or your total odometer. Okay. On the right-hand side here, this stalk is going to control our windscreen wipers. We can press it down once to clear the screen once, but we actually have intensity settings for the automatic wipers, and if we knock it up and down, that allows us to control our full windscreen wiper settings. We now have our center console controls. Located in the center here, we have a rotary style gear shift selector similar to the BYD Dolphin. Really nice feature here, where of course we can start the vehicle here, but we can get going straight away with a foot on the brake and clicking it into drive and reverse. And the park button is located on the very end. We then have our driving mode controls here. We can set the car into sport, eco or normal. We have a winter mode located here. We have our auto stop feature. So of course, when you stop the vehicle, it will auto hold. So also known as auto hold. Our hazard warning lights here. We can turn on and off the air conditioning feature. We can turn on and off the fans, and we can activate the front windscreen aircon features. Finally, with a volume scroller located at the end. Finally, if you do have the comfort trim, you will also have a wireless charging area for your smartphone. We also have some connectivity located down here with a USB-C connection, a USB connection, and a micro SD card connection with a 12-volt charging at the top here. The next thing is our touchscreen, or our rotating touchscreen, which is standard on the Dolphin Surf. We have two ways of doing this. On the steering wheel just here, we can press this, and that's going to change the orientation for me. And the second way of doing it is on the touchscreen just there. I can press it and it will go straight back into orientation. I can choose whichever one works best for me, and that works perfectly. We have some excellent shortcut features for the Dolphin Surf, which are available in both orientations. The first one, if I swipe down on the screen here, we have a number of shortcuts available straight away. We can adjust brightness, volume, lots of great things. And actually, we've got a regenerative braking one located there as well. If we set the regenerative braking in this car to standard, when you lift off the accelerator, you'll feel that it coasts a bit like a normal petrol or diesel vehicle. But if I scroll back down again and I choose the high setting, then you're going to find that the vehicle physically slows down a little bit more, and it's going to try and save a bit more energy and take that energy which would have once been wasted and put it back into the battery. So lots of great shortcuts there. There's even a custom button where we can customize how we want that to appear. The other great shortcut feature though is if we hold down on the bottom of this little bar here, I can adjust what shows in this bottom bar. A fantastic feature. All my great features that I want at my fingertips, and customize that bottom bar ready for easy use. When it comes to air conditioning features in the Dolphin Surf, we can press this bottom button located in the center of the main page. That will take us to all of our main air conditioning features, and we've just got a basic control that allows us to adjust between hot and cold. Very easy to use. We can change the intensity located down here, and of course adjust where the air is going. Of course, being able to turn our air conditioning off here and the actual fan itself off here as well. We can also set the heating for the heated mirrors and heated rear screen. And then of course, ventilation, whether it's going to be of course recirculating or allowing fresh air into the cabin. And then another shortcut, we love a shortcut here at BYD, for the air conditioning controls. Instead of going into all of that, you can actually use 3 fingers. You may have heard about this. 3 fingers up and down on the screen allows us to change the intensity of the air conditioning, so the temperature element, okay? And then 3 fingers to the left and right allows us to change the intensity in terms of the fan speed. A fantastic feature to use. Next is our ADAS features in the Dolphin Surf. Now, firstly, you'll notice that we've got this little sensor located, integrated into the pillar here. I just want to make it very clear, this is not recording you. It is a sensor that's just making sure that I'm paying attention to my driving surroundings. If I was to start to look around, not really pay attention, answer a phone call, whatever it might be, it's going to straight away pick up and say, pay attention to your surroundings. You can turn this off per journey. This isn't something that can be turned off altogether. You'll find all these settings located in the settings under ADAS, and then there's different areas under parking, safety, or driving. You can play around with some of these settings. I'd just like to note though that some of them can be turned off per journey, some of them can be turned off altogether. They're all there to make sure you're driving as safely as possible. Next is our BYD Assistant, which is a fantastic feature in the Dolphin Surf, and it comes standard across all trim levels. You'll notice that we've got some words in the top right corner of this home screen here. I'm not going to say it so it doesn't set off the actual Assistant feature, but if I press on the words, it will take me to the settings of the BYD Assistant. Instead though, if I was to hit the little blue surround here, it activates it. So for example, rotate screen.
Okay, rotating the screen.
As you can see, it's a very easy feature to use. But if I was to rotate the screen back, and I just want to show you an example of some of the things we can do, if we go into the actual Assistant settings, I can use wake up free commands. So we can actually activate wake up free commands, and let's go for an example with the air conditioning. You don't even have to say to activate the system or press any buttons. You can just say, turn off AC.
Okay, I've turned off the AC.
So it's a very easy feature to use, lots of great controls. And finally, we can actually go into the wake word area and actually custom set up a wake word. So actually what I can do if I wanted to is I could set up the name James, for example. And if that's of course a compatible name, because there has to be a certain amount of syllables, then I can set up a predefined wake word and use that instead of the Hi BYD feature. Next is camera systems. On the active and boost trim, you'll get a reversing camera as standard on the Dolphin Surf. If you activate the vehicle into reverse, it will then show up on the screen, the camera view. The comfort trim is also going to have, though, the 360 surround view cameras. And that's this button located here on the steering wheel. Okay, if I go into reverse or I press this button, it's going to activate the 360 cameras. And you've got loads of buttons located at the bottom here, which allow you to change different camera views to really make the use of the 360 camera system. Next is the over-the-air updates, or software updates as they're also known. Other manufacturers out there, you might have to take the vehicle into a service centre, you might have to wait to get it booked in, there's lots of disadvantages there. Here at BYD we make things nice and easy. These updates can be done over the air. They usually take between 30 and 90 minutes to do, and you can't drive the vehicle whilst it's doing it. But it gives a great opportunity to get up-to-date, newer features and technologies inside the vehicle. In order to know what level of software you're on, you can just hit the settings cog located in there, go to System, and when you go into version in the top corner just here, you'll see that you've got version update and you can upgrade if there is a newer version of software. But if you go into version details and hit view, then there's a few predetermined numbers in there which will allow you to determine what later level of software that you're on. For any questions on this, please reference our service department. Next is pairing a phone, and depending on how you're going to use the phone, there'll be a slightly different pairing process for this. When I say using the phone, it might be just general Bluetooth. You also have the option of Apple CarPlay and Android Auto wirelessly in the Dolphin Surf. So let's go with an example of pairing our phone for Bluetooth and see if it gives us the option for Apple CarPlay. When I go into the vehicle settings, located under General, you'll see that I'll have a choice under Link here, and I'll have a choice for Bluetooth. When I go into Bluetooth there, I'll be able to then click on my phone here and pair to the vehicle. Pay attention to the prompts on your phone, where it will then give you the option to then pair for Apple CarPlay or Android Auto if your phone is compatible. And that covers everything in our Dolphin Surf handover video. But if you do have any other further questions, please get in contact with your local retailer and they'll be more than happy to help. Thank you.